Hello everyone. Welcome to Broken TV. Today we are going to discuss the Citizenship Amendment Act. This act, which the BJP revived after being buried for 4 years, was buried because of unanimous protests from all over India. This legislation created divided opinions among the people, but before going over whether this act is good or bad for Indian citizens, let's understand more about the Citizenship Amendment Act. What is the Citizenship Amendment Act? The Citizenship Amendment Act was passed in the Parliament of India in 2019 by the BJP government. This act is mainly for refugees or migrants from other countries to get Indian citizenship. CAA is an amendment to the Citizenship Act, 1955, which provided citizenship to all people born in India or at least one of their parents of Indian origin. For foreigners, they need to reside in India for at least 12 years to get citizenship. This act never discriminated against anybody on the basis of religion, as long as the above-mentioned criteria met the citizenship awarded to them. Whereas CAA fast-tracks the previous act, significantly reducing the time for refugees to get citizenship, which is good but provides citizenship only to persecuted religious minorities from Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. This act also explicitly states who is eligible for Indian citizenship from these 3 countries: Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, Parsis, and Christians. As you can see, Muslims were excluded from this list. The BJP defends the exclusion by stating that Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh are Muslim-dominated countries, so no Muslim would be prosecuted wrongly. But this argument is wrong. Ahmadiyya are persecuted in Pakistan, Hazara is also wrongly persecuted in Afghanistan, and both communities are Muslim. This is why staunch critics of CAA call this legislation an anti-Muslim act. CAA is also the first legislation in Indian law that discriminates on the basis of religion. The critics question this act silently, excluding other religious minorities in the Indian subcontinent who are persecuted in their homeland. For example, there is a significant Christian population residing in Bhutan who is wrongly persecuted by the majority population. Madheshi people are persecuted in Nepal, a Hindu-majority country, and Rohingya were persecuted harshly in Myanmar, and most of them illegally migrated to neighboring countries, including India. Sri Lankan Tamils were persecuted by the majority of the Sinhala population for nearly a century, which caused a civil war, and many Sri Lankan Tamils got asylum in Tamil Nadu because both have common origin, but this act is silent about these people. Critics question whether this law is to help only Hindus affected in certain countries, and suspicion also arises over the BJP enacting this act to create the perception of Muslims as tyrants persecuting the minority Hindus in their country. Muslim communities started the protest as soon as the law passed because they are the major sufferers, but this not only affects the Muslim community. It affects all communities, including Hindus. As we know from the NRC, the National Register of Citizens, the precursor of the Citizenship Amendment Act, which was enacted in 2003 in Assam by the Vajpayee government. The National Register of Citizens, NRC, was enacted in Assam because prolonged distress in Bangladesh caused migrants to come to Assam over the years, and this created friction between native Assamese and migrants. The NRC requires citizens to register, and the government would issue them an identity card. In this process, the government would determine whether an individual residing in India is a citizen or not with the help of census data. The NRC results came out in 2019, which showed about 19 lakhs of people were illegally staying in Assam and they were not Indian citizens. What was more surprising was that only 7 lakh people are from the Muslim community, while the remaining 12 lakh people are from Hindu and other religious faiths. This clearly shows that this act is not only against Muslims but also against all communities. Also, the BJP wanted to create the perception that only Muslims were illegally staying in our country, but this failed because of the NRC results in Assam. The BJP persists in enacting the law, even after the failure of the NRC, because their goal is to persecute the Muslim community. Even if they successfully identify the people who were illegally staying in India, can we deport them all back to Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh? It is not possible. Those countries will not accept the refugees, and they will be shifted to the detention camps, which will be breeding grounds for misery and crime. Also, India doesn't have the administrative capability to conduct nationwide registration. We can take examples from our own experiences. In the documents provided by the government, like the Aadhaar, voter ID, or driver's license, how many of us have not faced spelling mistakes of your name or your parents' name or other issues? How difficult was it to rectify this problem and get a new document? Not only is implementing this act very difficult for the Indian government, but it also affects the social fabric of our country, which was already under strain because of the 10-year rule of the BJP. Rather than discriminating against people on the basis of faith, India needs to be broad-minded and allow all people of faith to access Indian citizenship. If you liked this video, please subscribe, share, and like. Also, state what you think about CAA and why the BJP brought this law back just before the elections.